All right, welcome to the Iron Sharpton Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. This is where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And here it is another week, and I'm in a remote location again. This time I'm coming live to you from the state of Delaware. So that's where I'm at in Delaware. But here nor there, I'm live. I'm with you. I'm hanging out with you, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm looking forward to another beautiful show on the Iron Sharpton Iron Show. Just wanted to make sure I shoot out and say to everyone out there to help me cross that 2,000 subscriber mark. Each and every one of you, I truly, truly appreciate you all, because I know without you, there would be no me. And I thank you. I just want to make sure that I thank you there. I see that we're getting people starting to come into the chat area. And so I don't even want to hold anybody up. I know I got a special guest on today. I'm so looking forward to having this person on, and I want you to enjoy him as well. So without holding up and hanging out and all that other good stuff, we're going to bring to the stage real quick my guests, and we'll let them bring them to the stage, and we're going to get them up there. So here, give me 1 second. There he is, Aqua Funk. How you doing, man? What's going on?
How's it going? How's it going? Thank you for having me.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I remember when I was with, and he's in the chat right now, Mexicali Fish Keeper, and he was like, "You got to get Aqua Funk on the show. You got to get Aqua Funk on the show." So I was like, "Okay, I'll reach out to him and see what we can do." And here you are. So I'm super excited, man. Thank you for being on the Iron Sharpton Iron Show.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, Mexicali is a really good friend of mine. Very good. I actually talked to him a little while ago, actually.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
He was doing his own live stream. He does really his own good. He does a really good live stream himself.
No. I look, when he was on the show, and the things that he taught us, the geographic information, and just the lifestyle itself, because I tell people all the time, and we'll talk more about what your channel is about and what you're about. But there was a time in my life I used to have a tank and had fish and this and that. I would never even imagine being in type of a community of people that had that lifestyle or whatever. So now I didn't know that it was a community. It wasn't that I didn't know. As a matter of fact, if I'd have known it was a community, I might have still be having my kids, because then I would have had that support system. I didn't know that it existed to go and say, hey, look out for a community of people that was actually doing it. So that's where I'm at. So
no. I totally. That's how come like I'm in it, because there is a community, and like I saw like a gap where people like me didn't exist in the community. So I felt like I needed to have a presence, and I find people like Mexicali, you know what I mean, which Mexicali's funny. Like I always think about me and Mexicali's friendship is strange, because me and him are completely different in a lot of ways. Like he's very calm, cool, and collected. I am not.
You're not.
At all. I am not. I'm not at all. Like
Okay.
So we actually have really good live streams because of the dynamic.
Right. Well, look, ain't nothing wrong with that. So I don't know what side I'm on that coin. The thing is, I have to what they say, I have to tame myself when I'm on the show, because I could be that person, and I'm like, I don't even want that person to come out. So I do my best to be the person in the box. So I don't want to be on your show, because your show, you got to be strict. I'm like, if you really knew me, I'm not that person. But at the same time, I try to keep it as calm as I can keep it. So but again, I thank you for being here. And so tell us about yourself. I mean, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, my name is, oddly enough, my name's Jason Maldonado. I'm Puerto Rican. Born in Brooklyn, though, where half of all the Puerto Ricans are born. You know what I mean? I lived in Brooklyn till I was maybe around 12. Then my mom's took us to, I'm telling y'all this, but there's a whole lot of things that go in between there, and we just there ain't enough time to go into all the little details that go in between there. But I moved to Brooklyn, to VA, Virginia, when I was around 12 years old.
Okay.
So while I am Brooklyn and, at heart, I claim VA because that's where I learned how to be a man. That's where I got in trouble as a teenager. That's where, I watched, I grew up as, that's where my learning years was,
Right.
Up until 12, I was a child. When you first become a teenage boy, and you start getting into stuff and start figuring stuff out, that's when you learn how to be a man. So I claim Virginia,
Okay. All right. So what part of Virginia were you claiming?
Hampton and Newport News, the peninsula.
Yeah. I know that part. Okay. All right.
7 cities,
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So after high school, kicked the can up and down the block for about a year. Then I joined the Army. The Army was very impactful in my life. To this day, most of my life my mentality is driven by my time in the Army.
Okay.
I almost feel like I am out of place as a civilian, to be honest with you. Now, granted, because of my physical issues, my children and stuff like that, the Army's not the right fit. But mentally, I feel like I'm out of place because I'm not in the Army.
Right.
Especially with the people I associate myself with and stuff like that. But now I'm 49. I'm doing this YouTube thing. I feel pretty, I don't know. I feel good about where I'm at, but I'm not content. You know what I'm saying?
I got
you. I feel good at where I'm going, but I'm still hungry.
I got you. Okay. So you saying the Virginia, the Hampton area. So, and then you went in the military. So, what was your MOS?
I was 11 Mike, which they don't have that. They don't have that no more. 11 series is infantry.
Right.
Mike means mechanized.
Okay.
I was actually a dismount on Bradley's. Basically, it's the same thing as a grunt. We just got to ride.
Yeah.
That's all the difference is. We just got to ride. So yeah.
When I first went in the military, I was 13 Charlie. So I was in field artillery, but I was a TAC fire operations specialist. So I was a computer operator in the field artillery world. So I remember being out in the field one time, and a full bird came up and was like, because he saw me, Big Jack, he's like, I you be humping them Joes. Like, sir, I never lifted around in my life. I don't even know what they feel like, because I never had to do that kind of work. I lifted a computer, a laptop. That was one of my, like, you think I lifted a laptop? Like, man, bro.
Yeah, I excelled in the field. I hated being in garrison. I ain't gonna lie to you, but most of the people, when you're in infantry, most of the people hate being in garrison.
Right.
We all loved being in the field. That's where we felt happiest. That's where we felt like we was actually doing what we were supposed to be doing.
Right.
I made a lot. All my accolades were in the field.
Got you.
Yeah.
No, we definitely had our field time, because it's field artillery, so you can't do it in
garrison.
You can't do the howitzer in the back, whatever. You got to let it go. But at the same time, it was just, I wasn't out there lifting the rounds and putting them inside the howitzers. I was giving you the fire mission and telling you where to drop the round. So it was just that when the colonel made that comment, I was like, I don't even know what a round feel like as far as lifting it and moving it around. Like, I'm strong enough to lift it. I'm big enough, but I've never had to do it. So I'm like, hey, it was all good. But so where were you stationed? Where would they do basic training for the 11 series?
I was Fort Benning, Georgia. That's where the home of the infantry. All infantry comes out of Fort Benning, Georgia. Yeah. That's how you know if someone lying. They tell you they was infantry if they didn't go to Fort Benning, Georgia. I don't know. Somebody told me there was one other place that infantry came out of, but I don't think that's true. As soon as I got out of Benning, there was like, you going to Germany. So I went to Germany. As soon as I landed in Germany, they said, welcome to Germany. You're going to, where they said I was going? Estonia. And I immediately thought I was like, man, you lying? That's out of the Flintstones. There ain't no such place as Estonia coming up. Just lying. I never heard of Estonia. It sounded like a place out of Flintstones.
Right.
And then about 2 weeks after that, they was like, never mind, you going to Macedonia. Once again, you're lying. Ain't no place called Macedonia.
Yeah, where's that at?
Yeah. And then about 2 weeks after that, they was like, okay, never mind, you going to Bosnia. Bosnia I did hear about.
Yeah.
So because that was a big deal. Gotcha. So I spent about a year in Bosnia. We lived in a landmine field. In a field of a landmine. That's where we lived in for a year.
Right.
The Bosnians made up of three factions. They pretty much made they split up the country into like three pieces, like a peace sign. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that peace sign was made up of a mile thick thing of landmines. And they decided, well, you know, the U.S. was like, hey, we got a good idea. Let's make this football field size camp in the middle of the landmine. That's why if they try to come at us, they got to go past their own landmine. So they cleared out of space. About the size of a football field. And then that's where they made Camp McGovern. But every once in a while, after a rain, landmines would just come up and you walk around going to the bathroom. You're like, yo,
there go one.
There's a landmine.
Yeah.
So you had to, call DOD to get it.
I was upset because I was stationed in Fort Stewart, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And, so we was the 13th Infantry Division, or then the 3rd ID is what they ended up becoming.
Yeah.
And I had switched MOSs from the 13 series to the 95 series. I was down to MP. So I'm down to MP, and they were like, we're going to Bosnia. We're going to Bosnia. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. And they're like, well, you're not going. Like, what? I'm not going. That don't make no sense. And I was upset. I really was bothered that they wasn't going to let me go to Bosnia. My whole unit, my team got to go. You know, you got 3 in a Humvee because you got your driver, and your gunner. And I was what they say, a team lead. So I'm over there where they went and I didn't. And I'm bothered. I'm really bothered that they didn't let me go. But then they ended up sending me to Korea. And so
did you?
Yeah, I ended up going to Korea, and they went to Bosnia. So the other part to that is I come home on leave mid-tour of my Korea tour. And when I come home, I'm reading the Post newspaper, just the Post paper. And as I'm reading it, there's my Humvee on the front page of the Post paper.
Oh,
they went over a landmine. It didn't kill the driver. It didn't kill the gunner. But where I would have been sitting was totally
right through it.
Right there. The battery pack of where the Humvee, the battery's underneath the team lead seat. It took the rest of that landmine, but it was like, it was one of those where, the Lord showing me, this is why you didn't go to Bosnia.
Yeah.
And want to write to congressmen and all this dumb stuff. Is like, there's a reason why you didn't go to Bosnia. And for me to come home and see that in the paper, and I was like, wow, that's my Humvee number. That's my team. And my section was gone. It was no one, but they rode as a team of 2. So there was no one sitting in that seat. And it was like, that's weird. Because they wouldn't even send a team of 2. But it just, wow. So
I would say you dodged a bullet, but you dodged a landmine.
Yes, I did. 100. You would say that y'all put you in, because I'm like, I didn't run over a landmine. That's what I'm thinking. But if they putting you in a field of landmines, that 100% makes sense. So your story, I can now confirm why it made sense with my story, because all I had was the story of I know that it went over a landmine and they were in Bosnia, but at the same time, I was more bothered that I didn't get to go, because not that you're looking for fights, but at the same time, you train for this, and then it's like,
you want to use what you were like, I've been through all this stuff. I want to see what I got. You know what I mean? Like, but you went to Korea though, so that ain't. Yeah, bulgogi and yakimandu. So
yes, beef bulgogi is the
best. Yes. I'm mad. I had a best friend growing up. He was Korean, right? Okay. So I would eat that bulgogi and yakimandu. Ooh.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So
man.
It was a lot of dishes I didn't try because I'm real picky on it, but that beef bulgogi was
Yeah.
100%. So
Mm.
that, and I don't know what they did to their sweet potatoes or whatever, but man, I'll be at the corner shop every day trying to get sweet potatoes. So I had a good time. Go ahead.
My son was recently stationed. My son is in the Air Force. He'll be 26 in November. He in the Air Force, and he was recently stationed in Korea, and now he's stationed in Italy. He just got back from the Middle East, but he's back in Italy. So he's good. He's good. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah, Air Force. If I had to do it again, and I'm gonna ask you that. I'll ask you that. If you had to do it again, would you still go Army?
Yeah.
Okay.
I there's nothing more that I'd rather do.
Right.
Like, but physically, my body wouldn't, like, knowing what I know, like it tore me up. Tore me up.
Oh yeah.
So I love the Army.
Right.
I loved everything. I love the people I was with. I miss them to this day. Mentally, the lessons that I learned are still ingrained in me.
Right.
And to the point, it's almost, I ain't gonna lie to you. In a way, it kind of messed me up because I still have my standards in a lot of ways to the people I deal with from the Army, and I have them and I apply them to people as a civilian, and it nobody ever really measures up. So I think they're all crap. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, ugh, you a pogue. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hold on, wait, they're civilians. It's okay for them to be a pogue. You know what I mean? But I still kind of like put them at that standard, and when they don't meet it, I think they're less. So I almost feel like I'm better than them in a way. You know what I mean? But I know it's just because I'm putting them in. I'm judging them by a different standard.
Right. I got you.
You know.
Well,
so I mean, in a way, it kind of messed me up, as you know.
No, I mean, a lot of people don't realize this, and if they've never been through the situation, you are being trained and conditioned to do something a certain way.
Yeah,
you know, it's the talking back and the there's nothing wrong with having a question attitude, but there's a mind there. I said mind. You stop. You don't sit there and say, "Wow, what do you mean?" It's like, do you want to live? Do you want to walk away from this? Do you want to and part of that is you got to listen to what's being said to you.
Yeah.
So a lot of people miss that part.
Well, for instance, like, say, people who've been in combat or in a zone, a conflict zone or whatever, like recently, like my last job, well, not my last job, a year ago, I was working at an AC place doing AC, and the manager, he wouldn't have made it in the military. I'm just putting it that way. He would not have made it in the military.
Right.
But in the civilian world, people like that, they end up being managers. Anyway, I remember he was flipping out and acting like this stuff was so important, like it was the end of the world. And I remember thinking to myself, bro, like, you're making it sound like the world is gonna end, but really, this ain't so serious. Right. You got people dying, you got people fighting for their lives, and you worried over this little stuff. Right. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. You know what I mean?
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't stress over the same things they stress about.
Right. And I don't know, like I say, now that you're talking about it, sometimes in the, some things that you've been trained to do and some things that you've been, some people say you're brainwashed or conditioned, but a lot of it's a conditioning because there's a certain discipline that you have to do it. But and I'm gonna ask you because you would know, I'm asking you now because you're a veteran. Do you think it made you cold in certain situations where it's like, like it's like you have a coldness about you where most people would have been, you don't feel what I'm feeling. It's like, I don't. So it's
I would say, I don't think it made me cold. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think it made me cold. I feel like I was always like this. It's just once I joined the Army, I'm like, oh, these people are like me.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It wasn't like they made me this way. It wasn't until I joined the Army that I realized the way I was, all the stuff I went through growing up in Brooklyn and VA and everything like that made me the way I was, kind of, very cold, or maybe, compartmentalized stuff that goes on,
Right.
where people felt like, oh, he's very, he's an a-hole, or he's cold, or he's this, that, and the other.
Mm.
Well, in the military, it served me. It served me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was a good fit for the military, and I felt natural there.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I don't feel like it made me that way. It definitely made me feel natural, like normal.
I got you.
No,
that's definitely good definition and good explanation on it. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to recognize some of the people that's down in the chat. So we see Anna, is it Fonzie out there? Kamaria Jackson. Hello, Kamaria. Thank you for being on the show. Sharon Jackson is there. So Kamaria Jackson is my wife. Kamaria, that's my wife. Sharon Jackson, that's my mom. And then I see Uni. Is it you?
All right, so that person right there, they purposely spelled their name like that so that you can do exactly what you're doing right now.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Don't even try.
I got you. So
I ain't even figured it out.
Mexicali Fish Keepers out there. So hello, Mexicali. Edward Johnson, Captain Johnson, how you doing? B is out in the house. B, better than Nightbot. So hey, B, thank you for being there. And so we got Aqua Funk on here, and we're talking about some of the military days and some of the challenges of growing up in New York, and then also in VA down in the Hampton area. So I know that know that area. So we're going to come back after this quick break, and we're going to have a little bit more conversation. So please stay tuned for some more of the Iron Sharpening Iron show.
Get ready for the ultimate live experience. Join us on stage where music, poetry, and comedy collide in a night to remember. Top musicians, spoken word artists, and comedians come together for a unique and unforgettable show. From soulful melodies to side-splitting jokes, this jam-packed event has it all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we bring you the best of the best in this one-of-a-kind performance. Are you ready for the next We Be Jammin' Live?
All right, welcome back to the Iron Sharpening Iron show. Here, got my guest Aqua Funk on the stage with me, and we're talking about some of the military adventures that he had. So right now we got you. So did you go in the military out of high school, or did you do college, or how did that work?
All right, so I joined the military. All right, I joined the military out of frustration. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it was a total spur of the moment. At the time, all right, so my mom passed when I was 15, right?
Okay.
On Christmas Eve. I'm the oldest of 4. We was living with my stepfather. So after she passed, my stepfather, so me and my brother, me, my brother, and my 2 sisters, we're full-blooded Puerto Ricans. Me and my brother have the same pops, and my 2 sisters have a different father, but he was also Puerto Rican. So my two sisters are half sisters, but still, whatever.
Gotcha.
So they was young. They was mad young. So when my mom married Howard, a white man, me and Joe were kind of like extra. You know what I mean? Like me and my brother were like, we already talked the way we Brooklyn, Puerto Rican. We already had our look, and it wasn't something that he was used to. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So it was a lot of this.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, but I give him credit because he was a good husband to my mother, and he was a good stepfather to my two younger sisters.
Gotcha.
He was. But to me and Joe, not so much. But when my mom passed, we was not splitting up the four, and my sisters had to stay with Howard, my stepfather.
Right.
Because my two sisters' fathers, the father of my two sisters, he was not a good person.
Gotcha.
Like we left Brooklyn to get away from him.
Okay.
You feel me?
Right.
When we left Brooklyn, my mom basically stole us out of my grandmother's house, put us on a bus, and moved to Virginia. And it was hush hush. The only person who knew where we was my real father, and he used to get in the fights with my sister's father because my sister's father was like, "Where they at?" And my dad wouldn't tell where we was at because he knew what was up. Right. So anyway, we stood with Howard, but it was very staticky, you know. Then that only lasted for like 6 months. I ended up moving out. They moved to Florida. I stood in Virginia. And so I lived on my own. I graduated high school 11th and 12th grade year by myself. Living on my own. Back then, you could lie. I looked older than what I did. I had a little mustache. I looked way older.
Right.
So there was no internet. You could lie on the application and whatever. So I subleased an apartment, and I had a full-time job and everything. I got roommates.
Right.
And I graduated high school and went to school on my own for my 11th and 12th grade year. But because I lived on my own, my brothers was living with me. So I had a whole bunch of people like on me. You know what I mean? They was you know, I don't say they was mooching off me, but they was kind of like, I had a lot of people depending on me. Gotcha. You know what I mean? I graduated high school. I had the opportunity to go to college, but I was scared because graduating high school was scary enough by myself. Now I had to go to college by myself. Like I said, I had the opportunity, but I was scared. So I didn't go to college, and my car had broke down. It was summertime. It was May. It was May. And I'm walking past the Army recruiter's office. Like my girlfriend was bothering me, my brothers was bothering me, and my best friend was bothering me. Everybody was bothering me. I walked past the Army. I was like, you know what? F it. I'm out. I walked into the recruiter. I was like, I want to join. And then the recruiter was like, well, let me tell you what the Army has to offer you. I was like, I don't care, bro. I'm an easy win. Like, this is a cheap date. Trust me. You know, I'm like, he kept on with the, well, let me, if you join, you have this. I was like, whatever, bro. Sign me up. Like, you keep trying to sell me.
Yeah, I got you.
So he asked me what I wanted to do. And I was always been the type where I want to do the thing that's the most challenging, that's going to challenge me as a man, the dangerous. You know, I was always kind of like, I want to challenge I want to see if I could handle, like, put myself to the test.
I got you.
So I wanted, it was like, you could do this. I took the test and everything of what things I could do. I was like, I don't want to do nothing. I want to join the infantry. I want to do the infantry. That's what I want. So
I know his eyes probably lit up because it's hard to get people to go in the infantry.
Yeah,
that's like people don't pick the infantry. They know.
Yeah, no. I was
you don't pick the infantry yet.
Yeah, I was a short thing. I was definitely I was a layup.
Yeah, I got you. Like it's funny because you're saying that because my entry into the U.S. Army was a frustration thing as well. Except I was in college. So I'm in college playing college ball, not my first school, but now the second school that I went to. I didn't transfer. I transferred and get a new football coach, and the football coach had us out there practicing. I think we were practicing at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We're out there practicing, and I'm sitting there like, I didn't even know it was a such thing as purple skies. Like the sky turns purple before the sunrise and all that. But now we're out there practicing. I'm seeing it, and one day it was cold outside, and
2 days.
This was regular practice for a season. We're in season. It's cold outside, and I'm a running back. So I'm running the ball. I go through the hole. Somebody hit my hands. Just cold hands.
The helmet,
helmet on my cold hands. And I'm like, man, this is enough. I'm done. So I'm going up here, and now me and the coach is in a discussion. We're going to call it a discussion, but it was a little bit more than that. So, and I was like, man, if I want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll join the Army. He's like, well, join the Army then. I just walked right down the hill, went straight to ROTC at the school, went right to them and like, how'd I get in the Army? And he sent me to the recruiter, and that was it. So I never even finished all my years at school, and this. I ended up going back and finishing, but I went into the Army straight out of the football field.
So that's kind of the same thing. You went in out of frustration, just like me.
100%. It was like, if I'm gonna get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's gonna mean something more than me playing football, because it just. And I went from a bigger school. I went to a school in Virginia first. Then I'm going to a smaller school in
where?
I went to Virginia Tech, so I was.
Yeah,
I was a Hokie for a little while.
Okay.
And then I ended up transferring to a smaller school in West Virginia called West Virginia Tech, and it was like trading in your Cadillac for I don't even know what, a Hyundai or whatever. Not even like too much of a car, so whatever smaller than that. But it was an experience, and I appreciate
a Geo Metro. Remember those Geo Metro?
Metros. So it was an experience, but it was just one of those like, what did I do to myself? And now I'm all over the place because now I'm in the military. So I'm out there, and it's like, okay, now you're here, and what you going to do about it? And you're going to be all you can be. And I'm not promoting a commercial or anything. But yeah, you're going to be all you can be. So, and that's how I ended up getting in. So it was out of frustration. So I understand when you go in and out of that. But when you get there, again, you're like you say, if you're an athlete or whatever, you skills with this. Running,
definitely.
Push-ups wasn't a problem. Being sized was a problem.
Being yelled at.
Yeah, that like you ain't do nothing. I remember it's funny because I'm telling about my drill sergeant. He used to make me do a whole bunch of suicides out there, running up and down the dang drill pad, suicide. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why. And he was like, what are you doing here? He's like, do you know you could be at any college or whatever? Because I already did all that. I've already played at that level. So I'm here now. So that's make me a soldier. That's what I need you to do. But it's all good. It's all good. So tell me about the channel. What's going on with Aquafunk, with your channel itself?
So my channel, the way my channel even started was I wasn't really. So when I got out of the Army, it kind of, all right. So I always been interested in animals, reptiles more than anything else. When I got out of the Army, I picked up a little side job working at a pet store, and I was a reptile manager, right? Always been into snakes and stuff like that, reptiles. And I picked up a job at a fish store, excuse me. I'm getting these medications and they make me burp.
Yeah, okay.
So working at this little pet store as a reptile guy, the people were like, I want this fish. And they see you walking, they be like, yo, you work here, get me this fish. And they're not trying to hear like you say, oh, I don't know nothing about fish. You got to get them the fish. So I learned about fish through customers. I didn't know nothing about fish. I learned about fish through customers teaching me, because I would tell them like, I don't know nothing about fish. It was like, oh, well, this is this and this and that. So the customers actually taught me about fish.
Right.
And I kind of started getting interested. I learned about saltwater and freshwater at the same time. Then I started getting interested. I started keeping fish. You know, they kind of interested me more. Anyway, I kind of kept aquariums. Then I started managing pet stores and stuff like that. Anyway, fast forward, about 7 years ago, I was watching YouTube, you know, fish channels and stuff like that. I was watching 2 channels in particular, because none of the other channels I resonated with. Like, all right, so when I say this, I have to be very careful because I don't want to come off as. So the fish tube, they call it fish tube or whatever. It's kind of dominated by white males. I'm not saying anything funny about that. It's just white males seem to really, really like to have fish channels. So there's a lot of fish channels that are white males. I mean, it could be just as simple be Puerto Ricans or Mexican males. They just don't have fish channels. You know what I mean? It's not saying, I'm not trying to say nothing. I'm just like, they just don't have channels. I mean, you know what I mean?
The observation. I got you.
Yeah. So I would watch these 2 guys, right? These 2 guys. One was a Puerto Rican guy. His name was Majestic Cichlids. And I knew he was Puerto Rican because I knew he was from the Bronx and I could tell by his accent, but he'd never show his face. And the other one was a white guy, but he was hood. He was hood, you know, he was down, you know what I mean? Like, he was wild. He was like, you know what I mean? And I'd watch them, and they were into angelfish, the same fish I'm really into.
Okay.
And I related to them. I was like, yo, I would hang out with these guys, and they would say stuff in my language, just like I'm talking. They would talk like that. Gotcha. And I was like, I learned more from them because I related to them. And for some reason, they both quit at the same time. Just like that. And I was like, it's like, now what about people like me? What are we going to watch?
Right.
And then I thought to myself, I should start a channel for people like me, for people who feel like watching somebody go, pterophyllum scalarium and the nitrogen cycle. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what most fish channels do. They say a whole lot of jargon. It's a little bit dry. It's a little bit bland. A lot of people like that, but people like me get bored by that.
Got you.
So, I made a channel for people like me that don't really kind of like, they want a little bit of flavor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I started my channel. And
that's all legit. So the people that you was watching, they dropped off, and you had to fill in the gap. You had to fill in the gap. Ain't nothing wrong. So let me check on some of the people that's out there. So that one name you said we ain't gonna worry about. So it's UIO. But I ain't gonna go there.
They awesome. I just can't say their name, and I think they did it on purpose.
Look, we're gonna call you Vowels because that's all you got. So we call you Vowels.
Vowels, yeah.
So we're gonna call you Vowels if that's okay. So you know you can give us a thumbs up. But that's what we got because it's all vowels. So it's, you know, it's almost like a song. What is UIO? You know, I'm thinking that song.
Yeah, and sometimes why?
Sometimes why? Yeah, right there. So I would say that's why I keep the username 100%.
I told you.
Like there it is. So there you go. Tracy's Local Learning is in the house. Thank you, Tracy, for being here. Better Than Nightbot is in the house. Thank you, Niecy Jackson. So that's my aunt. So she's out there. Sharon Jackson, my mom.
Okay.
Kamaria Jackson, my wife. So thank you all for being here and supporting the show. And I got my man Aqua Funk on here with me. We got just going up the list. So Anna Fonzie is in there, and the Mexicali Fish Keeper Captain Johnson is in the house. And so we're here and we're talking about. I mean, we didn't hit a lot of different areas. I mean, the military and then fish. So you were saying, so which ones? Because I'm not the fish I had were Oscars, and I used to have a snake. I used to have a snake. I had a ball python when I was in college. So I love the snake world, but when I went in the military, I had to get rid of my snake. I couldn't take them with me. So you can't take everything with you, but that was one of the things that I couldn't. And so what angelfish is what you said. So is angelfish a saltwater fish or is that a freshwater fish?
So there are angelfish in both saltwater and freshwater, but they are not the same thing. Freshwater, I've had both. but freshwater to me is more interesting because the fish are more personable. You had an Oscar.
Yes.
I've had Oscars before. They're actually freshwater angelfish and Oscars are in the same family. They're a cichlid. Now there's a whole bunch of different cichlids. And Jeff, I'm talking about you, Jeff.
Yeah, I see.
A guy. He's actually really cool.
No. I don't recognize what he said, but I'll let you finish that comment. Yeah,
he's a white guy. He's over here asking me if I'm talking about him being boring. So let me add something real fast. About my channel. Let me add something. So Jeff's channel. Jeff has a channel where he does different fish than I do, right? One other thing about my channel is my main focus is trying to get people that are starting out to be able to learn the things that they need to not kill. I think the biggest thing that stops people from having aquariums or get frustrated is they don't know the basics on keeping fish alive. You know, it's like a ladder, you know, there's rungs to it. So I really, really try and teach people about, how to keep their fish alive. And then once they hit a certain level, they start branching off into there's a whole lot of different genres within the genre. You know, there's planet tanks, aquascaping. There's Jeff Kane. He breeds fish that I would never do. I would never do the stuff he does because I don't have the patience for it. But that's what I like about, this thing. There's so many different avenues you can go to. Right. I take pride in the fact that a lot of the people who start with me end up going somewhere else. And I'm all right with that. All right with that. Just as long as they didn't get frustrated and quit, I'm okay with that. So
that's a good thing that you're saying and how you work it, because you're helping people get started. You're helping people.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the basics, you're right. It can get frustrating. You putting hundreds of dollars into your tank, if not more. And if you don't know what you're doing, it'll be disastrous. I mean, quick. It don't take long.
Because when I was before my mom got with my stepfather, I remember she got me Haitian curly tails. That's a lizard, right? And she knew I liked lizards, and even though she didn't know nothing about these lizards, we kept them completely wrong. We didn't keep them the right way, but she got me these lizards because she knew I liked them. And we was in homeless shelters and stuff like that. And we had these we sneak them into the homeless shelters, these little things and stuff like that. But every time I would, my dad didn't live with us. This was anyway, whatever. So I remember when I was working at the pet store, these moms would come in with their children, and the kids would be like, "Oh, mom, I want. Can we get this? Can we get that?" And the single moms, would be afraid to waste their money because they didn't know how to do the simple things, and they wanted to do these things for their kids, but they was afraid to because they didn't want to waste their money because they didn't have a lot of money to begin with. It was single moms. So I make it a point to try and make everything very simple, and so that they feel comfortable getting that fish tank for their kid. They feel that their kid deserves it, and kind of carrying them until they feel safe enough to be on their own. You know what I mean?
No, that's good. I mean, so if I was coming to your channel and I was getting started, well, you'll be the best channel to go to if you're a person just trying to get started. And
I hope that's what it started as, and I hope that I'm still keeping that going. I feel like I am.
But then at the same time, you're giving it to them in a fun-loving flavor. So not saying that I've never been to Jeff's channel to say if he's dry or if it's I remember how you. But at the same time, you do want to be able to deliver the message in a way that people will keep coming back. And
if you're into the type of things that he's into, then he wouldn't be dry. I'm not into the stuff he's into, so I'm content making fun of him.
100%. It's for those those who are watching and don't know that the fish, the aquarium fish keepers, aquarium keepers, they have their own little community. So they have their own community that they have fun with each other.
Yeah.
So without, I'm sure that they, some of the things you're saying, like, well, he's being mean. No, he's not being mean.
No.
And I'm sure the fact that Jeff is still there, or if he's watching and he came over, meaning they have a relationship, because he didn't have to come over. I'm glad that
he be flirting with my old lady. Like, for real. I'm starting to feel a certain type of way about that. Like, for real.
Maybe that's what he was just throwing out there. So I'm not even going to.
What do you say?
Where's
see, that's what I'm talking about right there. I'm telling you, man.
That's our community. So and Viles say that Jeff is a cool dude. So we gave him a new name, so he's a new name.
He looked like a character from Lord of the Rings. You know, one of the wizards with the long beard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So look, B, if you could drop some of the links down there. So I see Empire of the Dirt Aquatics. Viles is down there.
Yeah.
Drop their links to other people, because I can't actually give them a blue jacket or anything from where
I'm at. They're good. They're good.
I'm at a remote location.
Yeah.
But if we can drop their links, if you can. If not, it's okay. But we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to come back. And are you able to hang with me on the after show for a little while?
I am.
Okay, all right. What's up? So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we're going to do some more chit-chatting and talking with you. So give me 1 second. We're going to have a quick break, and we'll be back.
Get ready for the ultimate live experience. Join us on stage where music, poetry, and comedy collide in a night to remember. Top musicians, spoken word artists, and comedians come together for a unique and unforgettable show. From soulful melodies to side-splitting jokes, this jam-packed event has it all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we bring you the best of the best in this one-of-a-kind performance. Are you ready for the next We Be Jammin' Live?
All right, we're back on the Iron Shopping Iron Show. Got my guest Aqua Funk with me today, and we're just learning some things about who he is. It's that's part of what this show is. The show is about, is trying to get to know the person behind the channel, and that's what we're getting to learn a lot about you. And I thank you for being a guest on the show. While we was on the break, it was brought to my attention that, and we're saying Viles, and I don't want to disrespect the person, so I appreciate him, having fun with us in there. But I heard it was UO, so don't say the I at all. So it's UO, and if I'm not mistaken, so it was brought to my attention. So I just want to make sure that it's, let's say, the meaning of UO is it's the highest ranked institution of education and research in Norway. So I don't know if that's where it came from, but UO, if that is correct, if you can go ahead and give us an acknowledgement to let us know that we're there, I would definitely appreciate it. And again, we were having some fun, but at the same time, I want to respect your name, just like I would ask anybody to respect my name. So
no, see that? Nah, it's a coincidence, but I bet you they run with that now. Norwegian. He's from Connecticut. They from Connecticut. Let's talk about Norway. No,
it's funny. He said, "Wait, really?" Yeah. So look, hey, you gotta go with what you go with. Sometimes it's all about. So again, I just try to be respectful. If it's not, then disregard everything I just said. We're going back to Viles. So anyway, so we definitely want to thank Thank you for being here with me. So we're going to go ahead and kick over. So I got a question for you. So
Yeah.
you were talking to someone and they say that your 25-year-old self. And what advice would you give your 25-year-old self now that you're older and you can say, hey, I wish somebody would do this when I was 25?
Oh, man. If I was 25 years, if I could look at myself and be like, hey, I would probably think about a career. Don't be so don't be so flighty when it comes to, but see, that's the thing. Like I 25, damn. I'm 49 now, so that's half my life.
Yeah.
Dang. Honestly, buy a house. Okay. Buy a house. I that would be right now. All I care about is being at a spot to buy a house. But right now, I don't know about that right now. You know what I mean? Like the prices are coming down, but are you gonna be able to afford it next month, even with the low prices?
No,
nobody knows. You know,
count the cost. 100%.
Yeah, nobody knows. So, buy a house. I think that would be my number one thing when I was 25. Buy a house. You look at the prices 25 years ago, what a house costs to now.
Yeah. Nah,
it would be that.
Especially, I know some of the areas, like you say, you're talking the Hampton areas of Virginia and all. Yeah, and like you'd have jumped on that 25 years ago, you'd be almost triple what it was now. So before we go into, we get ready to kick over and go into the little to the after show, and I just want to make sure we acknowledge those who are down in the chat. So I see B is still out there, and B is better than Nightbot, so she's all on it. We got Dapper PH is here. Hey, Dapper, and thank you for coming in and hanging with us on the Iron Shop and Iron Show. We got Val's out there kicking it with us. UO, as we have determined it, it's not what it means. So, but that's all good. So it's all good. But, Sharon Jackson, Niecy Jackson, Kamaria Jackson, Empire of Dirt Aquatics, and Jeff. I see Jeff Kane is his name. So thank y'all for being here and hanging with us today. Tracy's Local Learning. Captain Johnson is in the house, and Mexicali Fish Keeper is in the house. So we thank you all for being here, hanging with us. And we're going to not take a quick break, but we're going to bring another guest up on the stage. We get a little deeper in the conversation. So give me 1 second to get this person up on the stage, and we get him up here in 1 second. Here we go. My man Walt, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Man. Hey, salute to the two veterans, man.
What's
up, my man? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good,
Hey, how man. Hey, look, man, I'm sitting here cracking up because that fish life is gangster, man. That fish life is gangster, man.
I'm trying to get it out of these people, man. I'm trying to get these people, opened up a little bit. They wild. They just they keep it down low. That's why they come to my channel today. They can act up in my channel all they want.
Man, that's good stuff, man. When we had Mexicali Fish Keeper, right, Jack?
Yeah, that was him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. He was talking about how the gamesmanship is on those channels, man. So that's pretty cool, and you have just solidified that, man. So, hey, man, shout out to you for that, man. And another thing that I noticed when I meet people in New York, if they don't tell me the borough they're from, I'm thinking they're upstate. But you sure enough shout Brooklyn right out the bat.
East New York, baby. East New York.
So that's another thing that always grabs me. And then of course being a DC guy, you from Tidewater area, so AI Bubba Chuck is our man.
I went to high school with him. I went to high school with Chuck.
Man,
I got so many stories. I actually played Pop Warner with him, yo.
Wow. So was he as good as they say he was in football?
He was.
My
He could have
man.
went. He could have went pro.
Great. That's
I'm
nice.
be, I got a lot of stories about him, a lot of negative stories, but I will say this. He has grown up so much.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it's because of the negative things that has happened to him has made him grown up.
Yeah.
Granted, those negative things are his fault, but he has grown up so much from when he was younger. And the sad part is the system,
Mm-hmm.
all those stories about people hopping on these young kids that are good at sports and ruining them. I seen it firsthand with Chuck. I seen it with him. They ruined that boy. You know what I mean? They ruined him. And they turned him into a little monster. You seen it on the court. And he became a little egomaniac, and they ruined him. But in his older age, because I think he's a year older than me, so he's 50.
Mm-hmm.
He could look back. You could have a conversation with him now, and he's humble.
Well, I, for one, have enjoyed the maturation of Allen Iverson. For those who don't know who Bubba Chuck is,
Yeah,
I have enjoyed watching his growth, and I was a season ticket holder of the Georgetown games when he was playing, and I listened to a lot of his stuff also. And man, you know, rest in peace, John Thompson, because you know he still shows John Thompson a lot of respect for part of his maturation, man. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, but he took us to state MVP in football and in basketball in the same year. MVPs in both.
Cool.
He's always been, when we played Pop Warner, he would do this stupid mess. It drove me crazy where he got the ball. He was a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The whole play just fall apart. So he started running back. He 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Wow.
Everybody's like, what the hell? And then he ends up throwing the ball, make the play, or he runs, makes the play, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's like, what are you doing? But he was good. He was good. I give him to him.
So the other thing is, as a Funkadelic guy, so Aqua Funk, give me the name, man. Give me the history of the name.
Funk is so. All right, so here it is. So the music of funk, like I couldn't tell you my whole life growing up is little bits and pieces of a whole lot of different stuff. Okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That all come together. And the only thing that I could relate it to is funk, because funk got all these different music, all these different styles, and all this different stuff. And anytime I hear the music of funk, wherever it may be, it just make me happy. You know what I mean?
Right.
In fact, like, you know how people be like, yo, what's your walk-in song? Mm-hmm. It's gonna be something funky. You know what I mean?
Funky, right.
And that's where Aquafunk came in. You know what I mean?
Man.
You gotta keep it funky, you know?
So when I think of funk, I certainly can't define it. I can't describe it.
That's right. You can't.
But you know it when you see it or hear it, right?
Oh, yeah.
You say, man, that's funky. I mean, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So I get it, man. I get it. So you know, I always, for a guy who just got a YouTube name and it's not very original, but it is my name at this point. When I hear these names, man, I'm always intrigued by how people got their names. And I will say this. Listening to you for the first hour, knowing your name, it's dead on, bro. It's dead on. Yes, sir. It's dead on. It's a good fit, man. So
that's good.
That's a good fit. And I was a fish guy too, man. So as a kid,
was you? What you keep?
So as a kid, I had our big thing was watching the fish eat. So I had Oscar, and my boys had piranhas, and they used to clown me because my Oscar wouldn't eat anything. But I go to the fish store, local fish store, and the guy says, man, don't worry about it. I got the fish for you. And he turns me on to the snakehead. And I'm probably 12, 13 years old, man. So he turns me on to the snakehead, and this thing looks like a tadpole, you know, with the red stripe down his back. It looks like a tadpole. I started off feeding them guppies. Next thing I know, man, I only had a 30-gallon long tank. And this thing would eat everything, man. And of course, I had to put weights on the tank because he would jump out the tank. My mother would call me outside. I'm playing, come get this fish, and he would be on the floor, man. You know, and that snakehead was just watching him eat. You know, as a kid, you know, we used to like to watch him eat. And man, that snakehead just grew and grew and grew. And it wasn't until 20 years later, probably, you know, in this area, people were talking about snakehead fish, and they were finding them in local ponds and stuff where people basically had turned their fish loose. But you couldn't. It's hard to kill a snakehead, man. A snakehead was very resilient, you know. So that's what I kept. That's all I had was a snakehead after I had that first Oscar. Yeah,
they're illegal now.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard, man.
I was actually live today. I did a little pop-up live, and we was talking about the snakehead because some of us, I would love to have a snakehead. But you know, we was talking about fish that are illegal and invasive species. We was talking about it today. Yeah.
Why did they make them illegal? What happened?
Because they such a gangster fish and they could tear up the ecosystem.
Okay.
But there's a whole lot to that. There's a whole I'm some people believe that they will tear up an ecosystem, but here in Florida, I've actually spoke to Fish and Wildlife, the actual officers, and they was like, yeah, they haven't done what people say they've done.
Want to do. Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of it's ignorance from the legislature. I can't even say.
I got the legislature.
A lot of the people who make the rules, they don't understand. They're ignorant to what these fish are. Not saying that they 100% wrong, but some of the rules that you come up with, the people that are making them have no idea about fish and what they're talking about. So you know, it's definitely a discussion that has to be had, but they need to have experts in the room.
Right, in the room. Right. You got a bunch of non-fish owners talking about fish.
Yeah, they don't. That's not happening. That's not happening. So
let me ask you this. So you talking about working in the fish store, being a reptile guy. I got you by about 12 years. But when I was a kid, everybody had that little green turtle. And they stopped selling them in the fish store. They made those illegal. And they said they were carrying some type of disease, some type of whatever. But is that what it was?
It was salmonella? Wow.
Well, here's the thing. So you can still buy turtles.
But
the only time you can't
turtles, these little turtles, like
the only time miniature turtles.
Yeah, they were like little small turtles, man. You get them at the pet store, and you can buy them like you buy goldfish now. I guess, you know. Yeah.
So the turtles, the problem that people was having with turtles is it wasn't the turtles' fault though.
Okay.
It wasn't the turtles' fault. It was the people who had the turtles.
Okay.
Because the turtles doo-doo in the water.
Right.
They just like fish do.
Just like fish.
But when turtles doo-doo, and it just lingers in the water, basically with the heat and everything.
Okay.
You get salmonella, just like keeping chicken on the counter, chicken juice.
Right, chicken juice on the counter, on the cutting board and all that.
People was getting salmonella, so they was discouraging getting turtles. It wasn't because of the turtles; it's because people didn't know how to keep them in a sanitary way. People didn't know how to clean them properly. There are times where there are turtles that you cannot sell because they're, depending on what type it is, people are wiping out the native species.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That might have been the reason why they were they were getting them like yellow-bellied sliders, red-eared sliders, depending on where they was getting them from. They could have been like wiping out the native species to put them in the pet stores. That's another reason. Yeah. Like for instance, up where we from, you know, VA and DC, diamondback terrapins, beautiful turtle,
right?
But you can't touch them. Can't touch them. You know. Out here in Florida, there's a I think it's called a mud turtle or something like that. You can't touch them.
Wow.
So at one time you could, but then you can't. So
Hey, let us recognize real quick some of the people that's down in the chat. So we see Vibin with VC is here, and hey Vibin, how you doing? Dapper PH again is here. Empire, the Dirt Aquatics. Jeffy said his comment was because he smells funny. That's why it was Aqua Funk. But you know,
See what I
I know
mean?
that's. I
See,
know that's.
see, you see
There
that
we
is?
go.
I know
You see
that's
what it is?
And there it
y'all,
is.
so
There
Yeah.
I
it
was
is.
missing our
There it
shit.
is.
So yeah. It wasn't trying to make no fun, but I know that y'all got your thing going on. So I
That's
just wanted to let
that's
them know.
Oh man,
that,
that's funny.
this is, see, that's why I can't have a live stream. That's the reason right there. No, seriously, no, hold up. We gotta talk about this for a second. See, I'm a fish channel. Everybody else in the whole fish world could do a live stream and talk about fish. Not me. I have a live stream. I have Weisenheimers like this guy. We end up talking about everything except for fish. We talk about doo-doo. We talk about
Oh, my
anything
man.
but fish.
Right.
This is my live streams turn into just ridiculousness. I don't talk about fish on my live streams.
The thing is, though, and then your comment, though, and what's is legit, because I think a lot of issue that a lot of people have is the fact that they don't know how to clean the tank.
They don't.
Because,
No,
you know,
they,
you're thinking,
it is.
okay, you know, do you take out all the water? Do you take out half the water? Do you remove the fish, and where you going to put them?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to turtles, because that you're dealing with water and heat and waste, you got to stay on top of it, because it can get real bad, especially turtle waste, because they drop deuces.
Okay.
So you got to stay on top. I will not have an aquatic turtle. I will not have it. It's too much work, in my opinion.
Okay.
I won't even suggest people keeping an aquatic turtle. Now there are some turtles that are 100% aquatic, like they don't come out on land at all.
Right.
Those seem to be easier to keep because you keep them just like a fish.
Fish. Right.
But when you messing around with the ones that come out on land, and they seem to be more work. I don't recommend them. You have to really want them. I don't recommend them. It's too much work.
No, go ahead, Walt. Go
What
ahead.
size tanks do you have?
I got tanks in storage, but right now I got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Wow.
I got 13 tanks right now. And the largest tank I have set up, well, it's about to be set up. I got a 39, but mostly all the tanks I have set up right now are all 20 gallons.
Okay.
Or 15s. But I'm in a transition where I'm starting a business, so I don't have very many display tanks. Oh, this one's a display tank. Most of my tanks are going to be used for business purposes.
Okay.
Not to mention, I'm always thinking about moving, so I took down a lot of my tanks, because I didn't want to have to do that last minute. And yeah, now that I am kind of wrap my head around that we're gonna stay here for a minute, I'll probably put them back up. I'll probably put my bigger tanks back up.
Okay. Cool.
While he talking tanks like we talk golf clubs. Or
Yeah,
golf
man.
clubs.
Yeah, I was watching y'all talk about golf, man, and I was like, man, I can't get into it. Like, I know y'all was talking about something the other day, and y'all was real excited about it, and I was like, like something about that one video you did that got a lot of views and stuff, and I was watching it, and I was like, that would have been the end of my whole golfing thing. If that ball went down, I was like, I don't need this in my life. I don't need this in my life. I'm done with it.
Hey, Aqua, man, I tell people all the time. I played today, Jack, and I met a guy at the golf course, and he pulls up, and he said, hey, asking me if this was a public course. And I said, yeah, it's a public course. He says, I said, so I asked him, are you new to the area? He said, no, I'm just really getting into golf. I got a buddy that lives in Florida. He lives on a golf course. I went to visit him, and I just thought golf was cool, so I started taking lessons. So he asked me, he says, do you have any advice?
Quit.
So I asked him, I said, first of all, is that the best thing you can find to do with your time? And he's like, is it that bad? I said, man, it's worse. He said, what do you mean? I said, have you ever been in love with a woman you can't stand? And he was like, yeah. I said, there it is. That's golf. That's golf, because I'm telling you, you will never figure it out, but you will always come back for more. And that's the game, man. So what I tell you, Aquafunk, just like you probably would tell people about fish tanks, man, one's not enough and 10 is too many, 10's too many and one's not enough, that whole 9 yards. So whatever you are passionate about, and golf is one of those things, man, you just can't, you you can't half-ass it for the sake of this discussion. You just you in, man. And once you in, you're hooked. So that's the game. And it's the same way with fish tanks, man. I mean, when I'm listening to you talk about fish tanks, I'm like, man, that's a lot of time, money, and effort. And my favorite show, probably not, maybe of all times, was The Wire. Did you watch The Wire?
I didn't watch The Wire. I had so many other. I'm gonna tell you why though. Because I know it was good, and I knew I was gonna get hooked.
Yeah. Yo, yeah.
That's how come I didn't watch it. I knew it was one of those things. I didn't need that in my life.
But one of the coldest gangsters in the show, and The Wire was one of those things that's like timeless, you know. But one of the coldest gangsters in the show, a guy named, his character was Weebay. He had fish tanks. And he was one of the coldest gangsters in the show, you know, and I mean, he had, and just to see who he was on the street, his character on the street, and see him deal with his fish tanks, man, it was like, it was a 180. He was total opposite from who he was in the street, man. His fish tanks brought him peace. And talking to you and Mexicali Fish Keeper, I mean, I see, you know, and even when I had my tank, you know, I could see how people can just, it's relaxing, man. It's calming. And then to be responsible for another animal, even in the fish tank, it's just a different thing, man. So salute to you for that, my man. Salute to you for that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
So now, Otto, I'm looking at you're saying founded of UFO USA. So what is that?
Where did it? Oh, that's on there?
That's on there, yeah.
Oh man, okay. So I forgot to take that off. I went on somebody's live stream. Who was it? It was all right. So I the last live stream I went on where I used StreamYard, they had those little sayings on there. So my hats, all my this is the third logo I've had right here.
Okay.
Right. This is, where is it? Hold on, wait.
There you go. Come around the other way. There you go.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
I see it.
And you can't see it. It's very little, but every logo I've had, I've embedded UFO. Ever since day one, 7 years ago, I put UFO. And it stands for unadulterated funky object. And it's very small. It's very small. You can't see it at first glance. But this is my third one. This one I changed because my daughter's autistic, so I had to add autism into my logo because it's very much part of my life now, and my channel, my life. I kind of molded them together. But that's what that means. Unadulterated funky object. So they would put little phrases in there. They put little phrases. I was like, I'll put a phrase, and I just threw that up there.
Cool. Thank you for explaining that, and that's what's up. Yeah, so that's good. So now, are you? And I haven't checked your channel to see. I know I'm a subscriber. I check. Are you monetized already, or?
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the 2K, by the way.
Yes. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. So we're growing. We're trying to get there. So, you know. So what is that like in the fish world as far as? I guess being monetized, does it help support your hobby, or I mean, I'm just more curious.
For me,
it's not. So
so being monetized is very strange. So I make evergreen videos, right? It's just I make evergreen videos. So my videos, they kind of bring in revenue all the time. Doing these live streams like this it's hard to really make money on live streams because you depend on super chats, because people don't really watch live streams after they done. They watch them like right then and there. Like I don't know. Do people watch like your live stream from a month ago? Does it still get traffic?
It get a little, very little. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So my evergreen videos, which means like people watch them forever, they will always watch them. Like I make videos that are always going to be relevant because it's like, for instance, I make a video about Oscars. Well, forever somebody's going to want to know about Oscars. Right. So those videos constantly bring in revenue. So yeah, they help out. I can pay a couple bills here and there. You know, I'm still a small channel, right? some channels rely solely on revenue from super chats and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I come to the conclusion where my channel doesn't really get super chats and stuff like that, so I don't really count on it. I know my members only. That is, I actually really appreciate my members only, because for me, I feel like my members, I put them on a higher pedestal than my subscribers, because they coming out of pocket.
Mhm.
That's something, you know what I mean? That's something serious to me.
Right.
You know, I mean, just watching the video, hitting the like button and the comment, I appreciate that. I really do. But when you coming out of pocket, well, you now I feel like you invested in my channel to that point.
Mhm.
So yeah, my members only. I try and do stuff. I get frustrated because they so nice. They won't tell you, hey, we want you to do this. I'm paying for this. You need to give me this. They're not gonna do that because they're too nice. But I be telling them, I be like, yo, I want to cater to you. Let me know. But they don't do that. It be driving me nuts. It be driving me nuts. So I keep trying to throw stuff against the wall, seeing what sticks.
What is your membership fee?
I got a small one that I think is like $1 or $2, something, I don't know. And then one that's $4.
Okay.
One that's $4. And I realized some people just wanna. I did have one that was just $5. Just one of them, $5, bang. And then I realized some people didn't want to pay $5. They don't even care about all the extras. They just wanted to have a little thing by their name, and they just wanted to show support. That's it. That's all they wanted to do. They didn't care about watching extra content. They just wanted to show they support it.
That's big.
So that's why I have a lower one for those people who just wanted to show support. So I realized that. So I went ahead and did that. But I'm still trying to figure stuff out. If I could provide more of a variety of stuff, then I would have different levels. But at the moment, I can't really do that. I'm trying to get to that point, but at the moment, nah, I can't do that.
Okay.
You know?
No, that's what's up. That's what's up. So thanks for sharing that, because the thing is, like, I know we a lot of new content creators, and I say it too. I say it, and it was my biggest goal. The big thing I wanted to do was go live, and I'm doing it. But then once you cross that 1,000 mark, and now it's like, well, shoot, if I'm here, I might as well go in and get all the rest of it. Don't stop. So I don't want to act like, well, I'm not chasing after the monetization type thing. But now it's almost like a competitive thing. Like, you right here to go in and get everything else you got.
Yeah.
I like being live. So to change up and say I'm gonna do this and do that, this is what I like doing. I would have never had a conversation with you had I not been on this type of show. I'm not. I don't have, you wasn't coming on the golf course, and I'm not putting another fish tank together. So we
would never met each other.
So it's like, and I bowl also. So maybe you can bowl. Maybe but I did hear you say you played ball. So did you? What sports and when did you play?
All right. So I'm a football player by nature, but I did play basketball. But the only reason why I played, all right, I'm 5'7".
Okay.
All right, I'm 5'7".
All right.
I'm naturally a very aggressive physical person.
I can see that.
I played linebacker. I played, defensive end. I played defensive line and offensive line.
Wow.
I never wanted the ball. I wanted to hit somebody. That was it. So I would play fullback just so I could block. You know what I mean? I don't care about the ball. I just want to hit somebody. They would put in basketball. I was really good in defense because I just like bothering people. I love making people mad because they couldn't do nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't good. I wasn't a good. I could dribble, but I wasn't a good dribbler. I wasn't like Stella. But what I could do is bug people to death.
You're a coach's dream. That's a coach's dream.
Yeah, I was like, look, I'm not gonna let you do what you want to do. Period. You know what I mean? I was quick on my feet. So you not like you was gonna juke me. You know what I mean? You wasn't gonna juke me. And I was, that's it. So, and because I was physical, even my brothers, look, I was 5'7", they put me on center.
Wow.
You wasn't gonna beat me in the paint. You could dunk on me if you want to, but you was gonna end up on the floor with me. I'm gonna let you right now. They said I played gorilla ball.
Mm-hmm. Murder ball for sure.
Yeah, gorilla ball. And I was okay with that. I was all right with that. But
so that explains your Army career, man, because the one thing I did take away from that is, man, you about that action. And I respect that. I respect the man who's about that action. So that's good stuff, man. That's right up my alley, man. So that's
But I will say I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it now.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say about that 25-year-old question is that whole pride thing. I don't need to go to the military and get my benefits. I should have got onto that VA benefit stuff way earlier than I should have.
Right.
So did you go back? Did you go back?
No, I'm talking about to the benefit. The benefit.
No. But I'm saying, like, I know guys who circle back to get more disability.
I didn't even mess with it because I was like too prideful. I don't need it. I'm good. And I ain't gonna show nobody that I'm hurting. It wasn't until recently that I'm starting to get it.
So look into that, because I know a lot of guys who
I'm getting it now.
There you go. Because a lot of guys circle back, and it's like, they picked up on that, man. So and shout out to the military, because a lot of guys are circling back to get those benefits, and shout out to the military because they understand that those guys are eligible for those benefits. Yeah, because you don't know, man. You 25, 30, man.
The biggest problem, a lot of people ran into was if you had a lot of sick calls and a lot of stuff like that, it hindered your promotions because
it did.
Okay. So if you was a person that was sickly, we're not going to promote you to the next rank. So a lot of people took that. I can't go to sick call because I'm trying to get the next promotion.
Right.
And it ended up being one of those, like, your body is taking a beating.
And if you in the infantry, back when I was in, this was, so now I hear all kinds of stuff that you can't do this, you can't do that. I was still in where, you got ridiculed. They called you a broke dick. Sorry for my language. I know, but this is just what they called you back then. Yeah. They called you, the broke D. They said you had sand in your pee. You know what I mean? And you got ridiculed to the point where if you went in, especially in the infantry, it was frowned upon. There's a lot of things that I cannot claim that I should have. That's not on. I don't have it on paper.
Right? Yeah, because and that's the whole thing. If you didn't go to sick call to get it looked at, it didn't happen. And
right?
You know that it happened. No different than people. Your knees are shot. There's no way in the world you went through all the running that you did. You running on
concrete
all the time, and
that hurt me. That hurt me bad.
In boots and this and that, your knees taking a beating, but you didn't go to sick call. You went to sick call because you were sick, or like I told you, Walt, and anyone else watching the show, when I received all those burns. So when I got burned, I got really bad. So I had to go every day so that they could check the burns. But every time I walked in there, they would check my blood pressure, they check my temperature, they check this. So in my records, I had all of these times that he came to get his blood pressure. I didn't go for my blood pressure, but that was a natural thing that they checked.
Right.
So it was in there. So then it was like, well, we'll give you 0% for this and 0% for this, but then you get so much percentage for this and that. But I've talked to many people that got out, and the biggest thing is they didn't want to hinder their promotion or hinder their growth because of their illnesses. And we do, and that's I'm not gonna say that's a big mistake. But at the same time, you do lose out on a lot of benefits that you could get. So that's no different than with PTSD. People just wouldn't say it. They wouldn't say it because it was like you didn't want anybody to say, like, well, wait a minute, your buddies went over there. They was in the same foxhole with you. Why you come out having problems and it's like you felt less of a man. You felt like less of a person because you got shook up by this. But they were shook too. They just
so you saw.
Yeah, nobody was saying anything. So it's like you saw the same body blown up like I saw it. You tell me that ain't bother you? Yeah, it bothered you, but you ain't gonna say nothing because you don't want nobody to think you soft.
To this day, I have arguments with guys who, because right now a lot of firefighters, guys I worked with and guys who came behind me are dying from cancer. And the irony is, it's colon, prostate, it's not even lung cancer. You know, a lot of it's not even lung cancer. But I tell guys, when you leave your place of employment, if you are required to take a physical while you're there, like most of us did, hey man, take your exit physical, because at the end of the day, documentation beats conversation all day long.
Yep.
Documentation beats conversation all day long. And you have to have a baseline, because just like with me and my knee, Jack, with you and your back, these things don't creep up on you. Same with you, Aqua. Hey man, your 40s and 50s, your 20s and 30s creep up on you in your 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
So you got to do it, man. And as far as the PTSD, I can't really talk to that as far as the military goes. But again, man, it's unnatural to just be running. And the insurance world will tell you that police officers, firefighters, military guys, you can almost take 10 years off of your life. So you have to deal with those things and address those things, because long after you're gone and you're living, you still have to live with those issues, whatever they are. And sometimes, man, like when you're going through it, when you are going through what you're going through, you don't have time to think about it, man. You're just dealing with it, right? And then one day, you mature, you slow down, you figure it out. And next thing you know, man, all this time, you've been dealing with issues that you never even knew you were dealing with. So hey man, I tell everybody, man, documentation beats conversation all day long. So, and guys like us have to tell guys behind us, say, look, man, understand, it might not mean anything to you now, but down the road it will. And here's the thing. If people think you're soft for doing that kind of stuff, okay, cool. But how tough are you really? Are you really tough enough to deal with the ridicule that comes with it? And that's where the toughness comes from. So, you got to be tough, man. That's where the toughness comes from.
I tell my son's in the Air Force. I be like, kid, my son's name is Angel. It just happened that way. I said, look, man, you get a paper cut. Go down to sick call. Get it on paper. You get a splinter. You get a splinter. You better go down to sick call, get it on paper. Everything. Don't let nothing slide, for real. Everything.
That's a myth as far as what you put on the sick call, and this is going to hinder you from. If you hit the mark, you're a good soldier. You got the education, you got the hours, you got the time. There was a time you 100% that was a strike.
In my company, I will say it was frowned upon.
Oh yeah.
In the infantry world, in my company.
It was a time, because the thing is, if you're in call, then you're not in formation, you're not in BP, you're not here, so you're missing. And you're missing in the world of a unit where your right hand is dependent on the left hand and the left hand is dependent on the right hand. You being in sick call, that means your battle buddy is solo, right?
Yeah, so you're an integral part of that show, man. So and you feel like you're letting people down. You feel like you're letting your guys down. Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. Here's the whole funny thing that I always thought was silly. So when I was I was more of a field soldier, right? I excelled more in the field, and because of that, I would get, like, for instance, my shoulder. I can't claim my shoulder because I didn't put it on paper, but my shoulder got jacked up because I was alpha team leader. So that means whenever we dismounted a helicopter, I was the first one. I'm short. I couldn't reach the skid. That first rung on the helicopter, that first. So I pretty much had to basically jump out the helicopter. Now it would hover. Would hover, right? But in Bosnia, because it would hover, if you can't see the ground, it would hover where it thought the ground was. If the grass was 2-3 feet tall, it would hover 2 feet above the grass. So if you jump in 5 feet till you hit the ground.
Right.
So I pretty much every time, because I got short legs, I was like, you know what? I ain't even gonna try. I just went for it. I busted my shoulder during a mission. I'm in the middle of a mission. What I'm supposed to do? Call for sick call? No. I worked it back in place, went on with the mission, right?
Mhm.
I'm in the field for a couple days, whatever. I forgot how long we was in the field. Mission gets done, we get back, my shoulder's fine. What I'm supposed to do? Go to sick call because my shoulder hurt a week ago?
Right.
No.
Right.
So right now, my shoulder is terrible, but I can't claim it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I got hurt because I was a good field soldier.
Right.
Now you get this other soldier. He don't weigh nothing but a damn thing because he weigh this much. He's like this skinny because the military's funny about weight. They're real funny about weight. They take a skinny little dude over a guy who got some meat on his bones, but he can't lift a ruck. But he could run a mile like this, do push-ups and sit-ups because he ain't got no weight on him, and he look good in a uniform, and he can pass a board. But in the field, he ain't worth a damn, and he get promoted.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
But the soldier who's killing himself, who's beating his body up, you know, they get stuck. You know, they got to fight for their rank. So it's weird. It's strange how that works out.
That's the world. That's the world we live in, man. Yeah.
Nah, that's what's up. And I'm real quick, and I know we got the after show going in Mexicali. You know, I'm gonna shoot him a message real quick. Or put it in that. But we got Vibing with VC out there. Hey, Vibing, and thank you, Devon Dominion. I know that's not who he is. But that's my man from the electric field out in Virginia. So we appreciate him for coming in and saying what's up. Mexicali Fish Keeper. I'm dropping the link down in that chat. You go ahead and use that link and come on in on the stage. So give me a second to try to get it up there because I'm having some issues. But don't stop talking for me. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Oh, okay.
My man.
Hey, hold up though. Were y'all two the ones that was on the WWF thing?
No, it was Jack.
My cousin.
It was Jack and his cousin.
Oh, okay. So I caught that. Was it that they was trying to be funny with the footage?
No. Well, it was. What happened is it showed up on on
Netflix.
A Netflix documentary, and they did an interview with Tony Atlas, and Tony Atlas made the comment that if you really wanted to know what's going on in the world, blah blah blah, just look at wrestling. And they asked, but they pulled that footage that because he made that comment in say 2014 or 2024, but they pulled a clip that was done back when I was 14 years old or whatever. So,
but that's my point. Were they trying to act like the footage was recent?
I don't know. They just used a clip. So
like they was trying to pull a fast one. Like, this little boy, he said it right now. He's saying this right now.
I don't know if it would be recent because of the fact who they were talking about, the Iron Sheik and Nikolai.
Oh yeah, okay.
So
right.
So that I don't know, but it was just the fact that they had us on there, and it was crazy that hey, we're on Netflix. So it's like wow. So that was my cousin. The younger one was my cousin, and so I ain't.
I didn't see the clip. I just saw your little thing.
You got to see that clip. You got to see that clip.
I didn't see the clip. I was doing something and I watched. And I kind of got off. I just saw where you was like, somebody whispered in the ear and that was me.
Yeah, that was me talking to him because the question was name a wrestler you don't like or something like that, and he's sitting there deer in the headlight, not showing who to say. I would say it was the Sheik, and he like, well, why you didn't like the Sheik? And he
the Iron Sheik.
Because he's from another country, man. And that's how he started. So, yeah. But that, that was my 2 seconds of fame on Netflix, or wasn't even on Netflix. So, it had to be the Capitol Center, Walt. If you're looking at where.
Capitol Center.
Capitol Center. For whatever reason, I can't get that link down there. So I'm working on that. So give me a second. Yeah. But
anyway. You want me to send them the one that you sent me?
Yeah. If you can drop it in there.
I can do that.
Yeah, or send it to him. But he wanted to pop up there, so I'll give him a little space.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
And B saying she can drop hers, but if anybody can put it, I think she just put it down there. So that link just hit
Oh, she could do it. Yeah, if she could do it, that's better.
Right. So the link just hit the chat. Mexicali, if you want to go ahead and use it and come on up on the stage, you're more than welcome. We're here in the after show. There's all kinds of popping up going on. There you go. 1 second. And I gotta bring them to the stage a little different.
For sure.
So yeah, I gotta keep my stuff going the way it is. So give me 1 second, bring them up on the stage. There he is.
There he is.
What's up, man?
How's it going? How's it going, gentlemen?
What's happening?
No, nothing.
Right?
What's that?
So you know Aqua Funk, correct?
No, I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay.
Gangsters, man.
Shoot.
It's some dude
Shoot.
that claims to know
man,
something
you
about
guys.
fish.
Yeah, no, that's good. So how you doing? How you been?
Good. Actually, I was listening to the whole time because I was actually cooking. I just got done. But I was listening and I was like, man, I want to be up there because I want to have fun with these guys. I remember how much fun it was the last time I was up there with you guys, and then hanging out with Funk is always good. I mean, me and him, we have a pretty good friendship. Interestingly enough, and I know I kind of touched on this, but the whole reason I'm even doing anything on YouTube is because of Aqua Funk.
Wow. Okay.
He's the one that reached out. At the time, I used to watch a lot like everybody else, and participate in the chats and stuff like that. And oddly enough, I found his channel through somebody else. I didn't even know he had a channel or anything like that. And somebody had mentioned him on a live stream, and they showed a little clip. And of course, what you get is that whole animated, you Funkadelics and this and this and that. And I said, this is somebody I could jam with. So I started following him, and anytime he would go live, I'd get notifications, and I go check it out. And at the time, you would follow some of the bigger channels, and you would interact in the chat, and more than anything else, you would interact with the people in the chat. But a lot of the times, the people that are in the screen, they wouldn't acknowledge what you were saying because they're doing their thing, right? That's just understandable. And it's a lot of people interacting in the chat. But I remember going to Funk's and I would type stuff and he would read it. And I said, oh, he's going to read it. So I would get smart with him and I would put dumb remarks and stuff like that. That's how our friendship really started.
That's what I'm saying. I can't have a live stream because I sometimes I literally have to be like, I can't read the chat. I got to say this before I lose my train of thought because people, Weisenheimers, always trying to poke the bear.
Yes.
So one day I'm watching one of his lives, and I've been following him for a few months now at this time, and I start thinking about putting together like a fish club because you guys know my story. I live on the border of the United States and Mexico, and I used to commute from Mexico to the U.S. on a regular basis, on a daily basis, as a matter of fact. Well, on the Mexican side, even on the U.S. side, excuse me, the town that I was living in is a small community. It's a small agricultural community, but at one point they had an organized fish club when I had originally got into fish keeping, and then it just kind of went away because like everything else, you'll have the people that started up, but then nobody else will assume the control of the group, and it just kind of dies away. It loses momentum because it's a lot of work to be responsible for a group of a club or something like that. And so I start contemplating with the idea of I got into Facebook. You find all these different Facebook pages that talk about fish, and you find out, in my city where I live, there's a pretty good sized group of people that like fish keeping. So the idea starts, is there a club is where it all starts. Is there a club here where people come together once a month and talk about fish, just kind of like a hangout thing? Come to find out, there's never been one in the city of Mexicali. There had never been anything like that. So I get on that Facebook group page and I start, inquiring, hey, would you guys be interested if we did something like this and like that? And it starts generating an interest, and we start getting momentum. We start getting organized. We start doing like meetings over the Facebook platform where we're kind of trying to piece together what we want to do, and it's really gaining momentum to the point where we decided, all right, we're going to go ahead and schedule a meeting for so and so date. Well, it just coincided that like the weekend before we wanted to do our meeting, Funk was doing the live stream, and I just kind of right at the end popped off and said, "Hey, wish me luck. I'm going to try to start up a fish club in Mexico." And immediately he responded, he goes, "What?" He goes, "Oh, I want to hear about that." And that's where our friendship kind of went to the next level, because he goes, "Dude, you need to record this stuff. This is interesting.
Wow.
This is something that people would find interested.
All right.
If you know anything about doing YouTube, I can help you with that, but you got to document this, because there's very few opportunities to see the inception of a group. But number two, something happens outside the United States, like a same concept, but doing something in another country." Right. So that's really where our friendship really started blossoming from there, because at that point he gives me his number, and now it's kind of like we'll talk at least like once a week or so, and and it's not always about this stuff. We talk about in general life, and we go back and forth. But yeah, if anybody hates the fact that I'm on YouTube, you guys got to thank Funk for doing it.
Funk's fault, right?
It's Funk's fault.
Oh,
so man. No, he wanted to do big things. So I was like, yo, like if somebody wants to do big things, I love that, especially trying to take, like my whole thing is, trying to take something to a group of people that maybe did not have access, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he got all these people in Mexicali that maybe have not had the access to the stuff that we have in the States with like a fish club, and he's gonna go ahead and take it to them.
Right.
Well, that's what my channel's all about. Like, providing access to people who didn't have access, and film that. Let people see what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really, really interested in it. Now, things have not gone as planned as far as that goes with Mexicali, but Mexicali has still created a space where he is still bringing people together. He does scour YouTube to find up and coming or smaller YouTube channels and tries to highlight them. So he still is in the same, trying to help people in the fish community. It's just in a different way, and he actually has a really, really good interviewing skills. It's very interesting.
Right. Yeah. So
it's just.
Yeah, Aquatic News Network said if you are into nature, you could do big things through citizenscience.gov. So I don't know. So, and I'm sure that's one of Aquatic News Network. Is that one of your community members?
Yeah, that's Tommy. Tommy's another guy that's
Nine Finger Tommy right there. Nine Finger Tommy.
Yeah, that's Tommy.
These guys, man. These guys.
Yeah, well, he is.
Oh, man, I'm sure there's a story
fingers.
behind that.
Yeah. And River of Life Ministry just came in.
Hey,
how you doing, River of Life? And thank you for being in the chat for the Iron Sharpening Iron show. So go ahead, Mexico.
Yeah, No. It's just we do have. I equated and Funk and I have talked about this, that a lot of the, you get to know people by doing this, right? It's just if you start doing things in public, you're gonna come across people that you're gonna meet. But a lot of the times, you end up finding people that are very simpatico to you, right? They kind of think the same, they kind of have the same sense of humor, and those become a little bit closer. And we have a good sized group of friends where we've never really met in person. I mean, and it's funny because we call each other friends, but we never really had a face-to-face in person. Yeah. But nonetheless, that doesn't stop us from, razzing us and giving us a hard time. No different than what we used to do when we were in the service. It's kind of like that same vibe. And it coincidentally, a lot of these guys that are like really in our inner circle are usually previous vets too. So
Cool.
you know,
Yeah.
so it's I think a lot of the same mentality is established in most of us, that we kind of, you know, without even saying stuff, we kind of know what the hell's going on.
Right. Yeah. So I see Dr. Carla is in the house.
Hey,
Walking
Dr. Carla.
Life Ministry.
Yes.
Yeah. So and it's good, and thank you for being here and supporting. But no, Mexicali and Aquafunk, both of y'all. Like I say, when I was in the service, I had my fish. When I got out the service, because I lost my fish, I just never went back into that world again, because it is a lot of work. It was definitely a lot of work. Keep trying to upkeep and keep the tanks clean and do the right thing and dealing with a lot of stuff. So
I think you would benefit from watching channels like me and Mexicali, because in all honesty, the more you know, the less work it is. In my opinion.
Right, I can imagine that.
The reason why it's a lot of work is because and this is why my channel, I feel like, helps people, because people make it harder than what it needs to be. They spend more money than they need to do. They feed the less is more. Less is more.
Sounds like a golfer.
Yeah.
You go get the lessons you wouldn't need, all that extra stuff, man.
Hey man, trying to complicate it, man. You know, one thing we will do is just as people, as human beings, and certainly as men, hey man, we're gonna complicate this thing, because and I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure you guys are from the same lodge I'm from.
Yeah.
It's almost like when it seems too simple, we seem like we're missing something.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like it's gotta be
that
more
easy.
Because there you go. Because we have given it this thing, you know, because we fear more in our imagination than we actually fear, right? So we have made it this big, and it's really not that big, you know. And once you get to it, you get through it much quicker than you think, you know.
So from the beginner's aspect, I agree with you.
Okay.
But I gotta admit, and this is where I say it all the time. As far as like, we call them LFSs, local fish stores, right? Because saying that all the time is you lose your breath. So the people that work at these local fish stores, in my opinion, they start throwing all these words, this jargon at people to make themselves, I guess, sound smart or whatever.
Right.
And you overwhelm people that are trying to, like, hey, I want to get a fish tank. Oh, well, you got to do this. You got to do that. Right. They start throwing all this stuff at them. And you overwhelm these people where they think they have to do a lot, when really you only have to know like a handful of things to start out with. And you have to be good at those small little things. Get proficient at those small, you know, couple of things. Water chemistry, ammonia, nitrite, feeding, and water changes, and know your biological filtration. That's like 6 different things, and a lot of them are intertwined, and you're pretty much good. You know, you keep your fish alive. Then from there,
you keep your fish alive from there, right?
Yeah, and then you can branch off. You know, but a lot of those things you can master by leaving this damn thing alone. To be honest with you, you set it up and leave the damn thing alone. Nature gonna take its own course. Is when we start messing with it and we start making it hard.
And that's 100. That's life right there.
So, that's life.
You know, military, and I'm almost say that the fire department probably said the same thing.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Kiss.
Kiss.
Kiss. That's
man.
Stupid. But that last S is always the one that gets you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not. I gotta add some extra to it if it don't
have
because it can't be this easy, man. It just can't be this easy. It just can't be this simple.
That's the biggest thing, is it can't be this easy. So when they always say if it's too good to be true, then it ain't true, then
man.
That's where we make that we gotta add something else to it.
But it comes down to what? Respecting the process. Whatever that process is, if you respect the process, man, that will get you into the upper percentile just by respecting the process. You know.
Go ahead.
Froze. There he is.
Yeah.
I guess he got something on. Well, what Jack doesn't realize, by bringing us up here, the people that do fish, is that we're slowly chumming the water. And pretty
Mm.
soon we're gonna drop the bait in, and he's gonna take hook, line, and sinker. And he'll
Oh
be
yeah,
right
he'll
back in
probably,
this community,
yeah. It's just a
right
matter
back
of
to where
time.
he dropped off.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
okay.
just a matter. Hey, Mexicali, man, he'll probably cut a hole in his wall, put the fish tank in, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
yeah. He'll probably have to cut out 2 or 3 studs to put the fish tank in, put the header boards up, and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
man. Yeah,
Look,
because he doesn't
Bob,
go small. He goes big. He always goes big, man. He
hey,
always goes big.
Bob's
Jack.
Bob's out there saying, Walt and Jack, you got to start keeping fish. So
Hey,
they already
man.
trying to get you in there, man.
Hey, look, man, I tell you what, I think I was pretty good with the snakehead, but my first fish experience, just like most kids, was a bad one. Man, you bring the goldfish home from the carnival and he's upside down in 2 days. That was a killer, man. That was a killer.
No, and that's
Yeah.
a lot of it. It's like I say, you get the Oscars and you have them for years, and they grow from when they
Yeah.
were little babies, and then now they're big old Oscars, and it's like, and then something happened and they're not there anymore. It's like you just lost some pets and whatever. So it's like I don't I don't know if I would ever go down that route again. So
Yeah, but hey, man, respect. I just know that, like you said, once you start, it's like man.
And I know who I am. So
I'm in, man. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got back into bowling, and Walker tell you, I got back into bowling, and now I got back in, and I was like, okay, I gotta get a new ball because it's been so long since I bowled. Like, okay, I got a new ball. All right, now I need another ball.
Yeah,
I need another ball, that ball. So now I'm up to like 14. So
you got 14 bowling balls?
Hey, man.
Do you have the shoes to match the bowling ball that you bowled with that day? Are you that
Hey,
obsessed?
man.
The balls I got, my shoes probably match something. One of them pair.
Man.
Where you keep 14 bowling balls at?
Hey, man.
In the house.
Hey, look.
I take, when I go to a tournament, I take at least 8.
Hey, Aquafunk. Wow. These guys come in the bowling alley we used to bowl on Fridays, man. And I felt like I wasn't good enough because I had one bowling ball, and then if you're familiar with bowling the 10-pin, I had to get a plastic ball to get the 10-pin. I put my balls in the locker and I'm gone. But these guys come to the bowling alley and they pull wagons out of the trunks of their trucks. And then they load this thing up with bowling balls, and then they drag them in like they're just coming home from the shelter, man. So I'm like, what in the world, man?
See, that's that. See, I gotta admit, I'm a terrible person to take to places where people take stuff too serious.
Oh man,
because I can't help but giggle. Like I be like, yo, like no disrespect or nothing, but I find people funny. People are just funny to me. I love watching people. I think variety is the spice of life, no doubt. You know what I mean? And when I see people take certain things that other people take for granted seriously, I giggle. I just find the little stuff that they do that's odd. Like, for instance, one of my favorite comedians is Tracy Morgan. Because he takes small things that we all do. And he takes small things.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I ain't joking.
He takes.
Oh my God.
So there it is, man. So 100%.
He
takes them.
But he takes things that people do and kind of like blows them out and makes them funny. Like that game that people play called Dungeons and Dragons. People take that serious, right?
Yes.
I got banned from that game.
Really?
I got banned. Like, people wanted to fight me over that game.
Oh wow.
Because I used to joke on them all. I have roommates, they used to play. I used to joke on them. They was like, why you always joking? You ain't never played the game. I said, all right, I'll play with you. And they was like, all right, we need to get our characters. And then one dude was like, well, I want to be the ogre. And the other dude was like, well, I want to be a knight. And I was like, well, I want to be Panthro from the Thundercats. They're like, you can't be Panthro. I was like, hold on, wait, this guy's an ogre. Why I can't be Panthro? You know what I mean?
That's disrespectful, man.
So I'm like, all right. So anyway, they got mad at me and told me I could never play ever again because I kept joking. They said I wasn't taking it serious. I was like, this guy's over here talking about do's and dows and shout knots and stuff like that, and I'm not supposed to laugh. So I can't. I don't know. I just laugh.
Here's the thing, though. if you're gonna do something, do it right,
Right.
100%. Okay.
Right. And that's the
And
thing.
what you're saying is, and I'm just want to talk with you. You're saying like you're gonna go play bowling. I'm going bowling. There's nothing different.
No, but here's the
You're
thing.
gonna go play.
But
I'm
here's
really bowling. So,
but here's the thing, Jack.
Right.
You know, listening to him for the last hour and a half, 2 hours, he's a competitor.
No.
So the first time he walks out of there and they're like, hey man, you know, nice 100 Aqua Funk, you know, or hey man, that's pretty good, man. There's you know, in all the jokes they come up with bowling, you know he's gonna be in because he's a competitor. He likes that action. He's a competitor. So you guys like you in bowling and golf, in love, relationships, and everything else, they fall hard, man. Because
as he counted around this room with the 15 tanks in there.
yeah. It's a flex.
So I've done bowling. I've played bowling. I've bowled or whatever y'all call it. When I'm up there, I do try my best to get it. I'm not super terrible. The more I play, the better I get. Obviously, I get the concept, the angles and whatnot. What I think is funny is when people like the whole standing there and just you know what I mean, the whole that look, you know, that intense look, you know, and then that whole after the thing and they got that pose and like bang, like that the little idiosyncrasies I see when people do stuff, they make me laugh, but not like. And I might joke on it, but it's because I'm watching it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So it's I do, but I'm a joke on it. I'm a joke on it. I play spades, and people want to fight me. I play spades. People want to fight me.
Nah, man. Hey, man, I love your energy, man. And that's the thing, because I was that guy too. I put my ball in the locker. I come back next week, bowl a few practice games, and put my ball back in the locker after I bowl. And Jack is like, man, you got to get out and practice, man. So I can walk in the bowling alley and I can carry a 180 average. And I'm like, I'm good, you know. And then, you know, Jack's got how many 300s?
I don't know. 6 or 7.
6 or 7. But then, you know, just when he thought he was going to take his foot off the gas, his son, his youngest son, started beating the brakes off of him.
He beat me.
He beat him. So
like all my boys bowl, but none of them had ever beat me until this week. So.
And I remember, like, I used to bowl with his father. His father and I were good friends. His father was like my OG. And I remember, man, his father and I would leave work and we'd go into the bowling alley and we'd hustle every Wednesday, Thursday night. We'd hustle in the bowling alley and we catch those guys coming from the post office. And I was the guy with the handicap, you know. So because I didn't take it serious. And then he would say, look, dummy, we got money on the table. What you gonna do? And then, you know, that would straighten me up. So I get it, man. I'm 100%. And look, I've been a C student my whole life. I've been good enough to be relevant. I could be an A or B student if I just put more effort to it. But all I know is I'm in the room with the A and B students, and I'm in the room with the 230 bowlers, and I'm shooting a 185, 190, and I can shoot a 220 when I need to, and I'm good. Big Jack, he's on the other end of that spectrum, man. He's like, nah, man. You know, because he's got his, how old is he? 13, 14, 13?
14.
14, he's got his 14-year-old son breathing down his neck. So he's got to stay on his grind, man. You know, so I get it. I get it 100%, man.
It's all good. I mean, the ball is round, the pin's staying down at the end. You just got to knock it down. That's how easy it is.
It's pretty simple.
Anybody can do it. So, you know, but
so let me ask you this, because I like bowling, but I'm nowhere near the level that Jack is as far as, you know, the commitment to the game. I'm more like you. I'm a casual. If we're hanging out at the bowling alley, I'll pick up whatever is the house ball and roll it. You know, that's it. That's as far as I go. But how close is Kingpins to what the ambience is in the bowling alley for people that take it seriously? You remember that movie Kingpin?
Yeah, with what's my man? Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
No.
Yeah, Woody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first thing is remember, and I love that line that he used. You know, you guys with your 10 frames because they were bowling 15 frames, and that's why his average was so high. Yeah, you give me 5 more frames, of course. You know, we do everything more. Remember, I told you we do more. So that competition, or like you get into tournament situations, it is just like that. It really is about that. Those people are serious about that game. But like what Walt was saying, the hustling, because you'll get some people that's just going to run their mouth and talk that trash. You get it in every sport. You get them on the basketball court, you get them on the ball field. You get them. They're going to run that mouth, and it's like, I got it. You know, and the thing is, can you back it up? And that's the big thing. Can you back it up? I don't know. As a matter of fact, Walt, you sent me the video, but it was what they call it, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and
with the pool shark,
where Will got beat by the pool shark.
Yeah.
And then his Uncle Phil came in to save the day, and Uncle Phil acting like he don't know how to shoot.
Oh, shucks.
And once the guy put all the money on the table, he's like, all right, pull out Lucille.
Yeah.
And he put his stick out.
Lucille,
and that's exactly what Jack's father did to me when I met Jack. I'm 14. Jack was about 9, maybe 8, 9. And we're at the rec center. And, you know, the rules are you win, you stay on the table.
Yeah.
So I'm winning. So this is how we met. So old Jack, he said, hey, man, I want to play with my friends. I want to play my friend. And I'm like, well, you know, then you need to win. So at this time, I'm running the table, right? Because just like in life, there's always somebody better, smarter, crazier than you, right? So, but of course, at 14, I'm the man. I'm getting it. I'm wiping them out. I'm getting them out of here. So next thing I know, his father comes up to me, who I didn't know at the time, and he says, you won't let my son play pool? I said, well, if he wins, he can play. He got to wait his turn, or he can stay on the table. His father throws Big Jack the keys, says, go get my weapon out the car. I'm 14. His father's like 6'2", cut up like a bag of dope. And I'm like, oh, man, so what is this guy doing? And, you know, his father's like 10 years older than me. So now, you know, it's no fun when the rabbit's got the gun, right? So he comes back with the pool stick and beats the brakes off me, man. Just runs the whole table. And then he tells Jack and his friend, you guys go ahead and play. So, of course, I go home with my tail between my legs because I really, life lesson, right? Life lesson is always somebody better than you. I'm 14 years old. I get home to my apartment building, and who pulls up to my building? Well, Big Jack's father coming to see a friend of his. And I'm like, man, this guy's chasing me, man. And he and I were friends. He and I were friends till his death, man. And it's funny because the story we always talk about is how he bullied me when I met him. He says I bullied him. But that's what it is, man. So, you know, like just like this show, iron sharpening iron. Yeah. You know, and that's what it is. You guys with your fish tanks, man. I mean, it's the same energy, man. And I feel it. I feel it, man. So I really appreciate the energy. You know, to me, it's a fish tank. But man, I've learned so much listening to and talking to both of you guys and hearing about it. It's more to it than that. And like I said, man, when you walk into a pet store or a LFS, you call it, local fish store, which we don't have many of anymore. It's mostly just pet stores that have fish, you know. And like you said earlier, Aqua, you didn't know much about fish. But your customers basically sharpened you to the point where you had to learn.
They forced me. They forced me.
And it's the same thing with anything else, man. But I got to tell you, like, people, when you don't know, it's easy to laugh. But when you know, hey, man, nobody could tell me that keeping fish at this, you know, oh, man, fish, what's the big deal with fish? No, bro, you don't understand. I can introduce you to two guys who really know their fish and show you how much you don't know about keeping the daggone fish, man. And it's simple, but it ain't easy. It's easy, but it ain't simple. How about that? It's easy, but it ain't simple, but you got to know what you're up against, man. So shout out to you guys for that. Hey, man, you've educated me, and this is what the show is all about, man. I've learned a lot. About fish, man, and it's because of you guys, man. So I owe you guys for that one, man, because nobody can just tell me, oh, man, it's just fish. You know, what's the big deal? How hard is it to keep a fish? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it. That's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Go do it.
that's like no, and I can say, and I don't take offense to bowling. I don't take
Oh,
offense to golf or whatever because
nah.
my whole thing is until you get out there with me and
Yeah.
we do it because and when we bowl, like and we talk, I know we talk about bowl, it'd be different to fish. I don't take it that serious when I'm out there. Now,
Oh,
I take
okay.
it because
Go have some fun.
I'm not. You don't see my face all turned up. I'm laughing with I'm laughing and joking and I don't let it. You know, it's a hobby. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the pins are down there. Is when you miss a shot. I missed a shot. Nobody else missed a shot. I ain't got to kick the ball, return, and throw my ball.
Yeah.
You missed a freaking shot. You know, the pin was just standing there. It wasn't even moving. So why
Yeah.
did you miss it? But at the same time, it's just one of those things where it's a game that can be beat. That's different from golf. Meaning you can get a perfect score in both. Go down is like the challenge is with me to get the perfect score. They're always to roll whatever the best equipment is to knock down all the pins or whatever. And yes, could you do it with a house ball? You could. I couldn't. I probably couldn't pick a house ball up and roll it no more. My hands probably wouldn't go in a house ball anymore. What it is. So, but at the same time, you know, you take it serious. You take it no different than, like I said, I'm sure if I went and you showed me your aquariums, you'd be like, oh yeah, and I got this. I'm like, dude, you putting all this into that, and this is like, yeah. Guess what? I have to. But it's you know, I'm looking at the backdrops now and seeing y'all fish floating around, and I'm like, it's a lot of action going on back there. But
hey, last question for you guys. My last question for you guys. Give me your take when you walk into your local city, state aquarium. You know, the big aquariums that's, you know, the state-owned, city-owned, whatever. You know, tell me about what is your take on that, man? I mean, when you go in and have these conversations with these fish keepers at that level, man, what level of difference do you show those guys?
You're talking city aquariums,
like the city aquarium, like, you know, you walk into the Baltimore Aquarium, the National Aquarium.
Yeah,
you know, you walk into the big, like walking into a zoo, you walk into the big aquarium, man. When you go in there and talk to these guys, man, I mean, like, that's at a whole nother level from where you guys are, I would imagine, right?
Yeah,
I've been fortunate. I've been fortunate that I've actually got to experience talking to somebody, and his name's Nelson. He runs the aquatic side for the San Antonio Zoo. Okay, and the only real difference is the access they have to certain species that we wouldn't be able to keep because they have the volume, the water volume, to be able to keep some of this stuff. But what I really found impressive was the principles are the same. It's just scaled up.
Okay.
Yeah. Principles are the same. It's just scaled up.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So the fundamentals are what the fundamentals are.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So with me, I've been to like little small aquariums. I've never been to a big aquarium. Okay. I've never been. Now I do have the Tampa Aquarium, and I am definitely gonna make it there soon. But I have two things on my mind. One, it's either gonna make me depressed as to like, man, why I'm even bothering? Look at what's possible. I ain't never gonna come close to that. Or two is gonna inspire me. I don't know which one is gonna be. One is gonna make me like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Why bother when I'm never gonna make it to that level?
But
two is like, I don't even, or just I need to up my game. It's gonna do one of those two things. I don't know which is gonna be.
I hope it inspires you because comparison is the thief of joy. You know what I mean?
I know.
So, man, everybody's got a lane, right? And even those guys who run the big aquarium, they probably look at, like, you know, every state, city aquarium. You know, I mean, I guess they rank them too, you know, but so-and-so has the biggest aquarium, you know.
Yeah.
Those guys probably even look at, man, I wish I could be at the such and such aquarium, because everybody's looking at the next level. There's always another level. Always another level.
I'm afraid I'm going to walk into this damn aquarium, and it's going to be a tunnel, and there's going to be fish swimming above me and beside me, and then I'm going to come in and look at it and be like,
oh, man.
Stupid little fish.
No, man.
Dude, look at you, just little and stupid. You know what I mean?
Hey, Funk, that's exactly how I got all those bowling balls.
Yeah.
I'm walking
Yeah,
in
that's
late,
how, hey,
ladies.
look,
I
that's
look
how
at
it starts,
something,
man.
got that, like,
Yeah, that's how it starts,
I'll
man.
have one by tomorrow. I'll have one
Hey,
by
man.
tomorrow.
Hey, man, it's kind of like anything else, man. Hey, man, like being at the club, you know, being at the party, being at whatever. Hey, man.
Uh-huh.
Hey, man, you're pretty good at what you do until somebody pretty good shows up.
Yeah, doing shows. And you're just like, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what it is, man. But that's why when you walk in your lane,
Yeah.
whatever your lane is in life, when you walk in your lane, man, people can respect the fact. And that's why I respect you guys, because in your lane, you guys are confident in what you're doing, and you respect the game enough to know that there's other faster lanes out there too. So that's pretty good,
There
man.
definitely
Yeah,
is. Definitely
yeah,
is.
for sure.
But hey,
For
Funk,
sure.
it was definitely a pleasure having you on the show with me today.
Yeah.
You're, as I tell anybody that's been on the show, you're now a Hall of Famer. So you got you know, anytime you want to pop up, say Fishkeeper got that's why he was able to drop that in the Mexicali
Okay.
in the chat and say, hey, you're gonna pop me up on the screen because you're a Hall of Famer once you become
absolutely
on the show. So anytime
All right.
you want to come back, you see us out there, you know, you want to show because you know this was all about having a good time and enjoying ourselves. And I really did have a good time having you on. I truly appreciate everything that you're doing. And I know we didn't barely scratch the surface of all the stuff you got to share. So I know we got a lot more that we could talk about, and we will talk about in the future. It's been a pleasure, truly.
Hey, yeah, it's been great. I'm definitely gonna see what you got going on at the end of the month, though. That sounds crazy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We be jamming.
We be jamming live is the last Saturday of the month, and we put different artists up on the stage. We have music, we have poetry, we have comedy, and so we moved to a more of a. I get permission from the different performers to use their videos and things like that, but. We have a good time. It's been fun. So, and we also got another idea that we're getting ready to put out there of more of a men's talk show, and that one's going to be the Gentleman's Journal. So we're just trying to figure out what date. So, and when we put that out there, it'll be all about just men coming talking about men's issues and really working out some things. So we're definitely going in that direction. So I'll be reaching out to y'all because we're gonna need, I need real men talking about real issues and no, not playing around with it. We need some real conversation because it's needed. Like you were talking about with the Fish Channel itself, there's a gap and the gap needs to be filled, and we're going to fill that gap. So that's coming up real soon. Soon as we can work out the dates and when is it going to be on a Sunday? Is it going to be on a Wednesday or whatever? But it needs to come in line and it's needed out there for sure. Yeah. So, Walt, you got anything?
No, man. Respect to you guys, man. Thank you for your service. I'm sitting here with 3 vets. So, hey, man, appreciate you guys. I'm glad you were able to enjoy, life after the military. And, hey, man, keep on pushing. And thank you so much, man, because you guys have educated me a lot. I mean, it's amazing what I don't know. And you guys have filled a lot of those gaps for me. So thank you so much. And I salute you both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mexicali, anything?
Thank you. No, just, thanks for doing this and, just allowing us to share this with you. That's pretty much it.
All right. You're more than welcome. And I appreciate it. What about you, Funk? Anything you dropping?
Oh, no, I just appreciate you having me on, man, talking with you guys. I really, like I said, it's the first non-Fish Channel interview I've been on. So it was really fun. Thank you.
No, and I had a pleasure. And I'm glad this was your first, and I hope it's not the last time you'll come through here. And maybe next time you come through, I might have a fish tank or something. Let's get this straight. I have the fish tank. There's just no fish.
We got to fix that. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that.
Look, here's the thing. I got these tanks, and when everything went south and I don't have any fish, I'm like, I paid too much for the tank to just throw it away.
Throw it away, yeah.
That's right.
Throw the tank away.
Set it up.
I got
set it up
in there. So we'll see.
What state you in? What city and state you in?
I'm in Maryland. I'm in the state of Maryland. So more in the DMV, that Washington D.C.
Oh, we got people out in Maryland.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we
We got
do.
people out in
Yes,
Maryland.
we do.
That sounds like a hit. I don't even want to mess with y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we got people out there.
Hey, Jack, they gonna get you hooked, man.
I
They
know.
gonna get you hooked.
You already see my bowling ball. Can you imagine? Man?
Oh man. Hey man, just pull Kamaria, man. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, okay, so then what we doing this week? Now we got fish tanks going
Got
through
fish
the
all over the
day.
place.
Yeah, man.
I love my office when I had them, and I know if I get back into it, it'll be just like that again.
Yeah.
So, So, but it was definitely a pleasure, gentlemen. I'm definitely we're gonna close out this show, but I thank you again, Funk, for being here. Mexicali for coming up on the stage. Walt Talk, you always know, like you said, a man like E.F. Hutton, when Walt talks.
No, man. Hey, man. Hey, look, I still just can't believe how much I don't know about life, man. I thought I knew a little something until you invited me to these talks, man. So I really appreciate it, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this now, Akko. I know you're real close, and I'm gonna tell you this: when you turn 50, that check engine light come on a whole lot.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's
my body, bro, at 40, everything was like, my body was like, yo, I'm done.
Oh,
my body was like, yo, take this. Take this. I was like,
look,
everything.
It ain't gonna be a maintenance light anymore.
Yeah.
Started gaining weight. Things started
man.
making noises and breaking down. I was like, yo.
Oh, my God. So here's the funny part. Here's the beautiful part, actually, man. Here's the beautiful part. You used to make fun of older guys.
Oh, I did. I did. Oh, my goodness.
We all did. So just like they told me, I talk to the younger guys now, and all I can give them is the same thing the old guys gave me. Hey, man, just keep living. Just keep living. Just keep living. Just keep living. You'll see. Just keep living. I mean, that's all you got to do. Just keep living.
I woke up the other day and I got a pain. And it's like I pulled a muscle or something. I'm like, I know I ain't do nothing to pull no muscle.
Yeah, man.
It just is what it is.
I sprained my ankle trying to tie my shoe the other day, man. I'm like, what the world is going on, man?
I got so many old man jokes I can't even use no more.
Yeah, man.
No.
Yeah, you are that guy now. But you know what? At the end of the day, old is the goal.
Yeah.
Hey, man, in spite of ourselves, we're still here, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, we might as well enjoy it, man. But I take it all in stride, man. I mean, I just tell the young boys, just keep living, man. Just keep living.
I gotta tell you,
I got one thing going for me. I ain't got no grandchildren yet. As soon as I got that, that's the only thing I got going for me so far. It's the only thing I got going for me.
Grandkids don't make you old. That's gonna keep you young.
They gonna keep you young. I got two. They keep me young, man.
You're gonna be back in the grind trying to chase them.
Yeah. You say
I'm saying I don't have that designation yet, though. That's what I'm saying. I don't have that title. I ain't got that title.
So you got 4?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I got 3.
Yep. I love being a grandfather.
Yeah,
so,
man.
It's the best. It's the best of having kids because you get to spoil them rotten and then send them on home. You ain't got to deal with none of the other consequences.
Yeah, that's it, man.
But I still got
Go ahead.
I still got a 6-year-old daughter.
Woo! Hey, look, you got a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
Man, you might be the baddest man I know. You might be the baddest man I know, man. A 6-year-old?
Yeah.
Woo!
I tell you, well, my life was going good. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got a 25-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 6-year. When my life starts going good, I gotta shake it up.
That's
I gotta shake it up.
What did I tell you earlier? It's like when it's going too smooth, you gotta make it happen. You know why? Because hey man, people change, but not much. And clearly, you've been about that action your whole life.
You gotta keep it moving. Gotta keep it funky. Gotta keep it funky.
Good God, man, 6-year-old. Man, I don't think I can have a 6-year-old right now, even at gunpoint. I don't think I would have a 6-year-old. Man, good God. Woo, hey, man, enjoy it though, because a 6-year-old will keep you sharp, man. And you got two generations to keep you on your game, man. So congratulations to that, man. Yeah.
That's good.
Man.
Gentlemen, this has been a pleasure. Thank y'all again for being here with me. Funk, you got a new fan. I'm gonna definitely be checking out your channel and copping it, and Mexicali, I already check yours out. So I appreciate you, Mexicali, for putting this together as far as a suggestion. And Walt, again, always
important.
So
Thank you, man.
Everyone that's in the chat, we thank y'all for popping in and hanging out with us through this through the Iron Sharpening Iron show. It's truly been a blessing. Hope everyone had a good time. And until Wednesday. No, today is Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, Sunday.
So yeah. Sunday, like I've been traveling so much, man. I don't even know about that anymore. So, but until Sunday, please have a good time. Be blessed, and we'll talk to y'all later. Fellas, thank y'all.
All right, have a good one, everybody. Be safe.